You really don't need to know a ton of different strategies to manage your anxiety or just manage daily stressors. You just need to know what's going to work best for you. Today, I'm going to share with you one very effective breathing strategy that is designed to bypass your thinking brain. So you can let your nervous system, your body, and your fear centers know that you're not actively in danger like they think that you are. Bypassing your thinking brain is key because, as you may have experienced, you actually cannot talk yourself out of feeling anxious. Hey there, my name's Katie. I'm a licensed anxiety therapist on a mission to help you find peace, presence, and confidence in your daily life. If you're new around here, I want to make sure you know about my free anxiety resource that I created specifically for you to learn and manage anxiety in a way that's actually going to be effective long term. It's called the Calm Guide, and you can find a link for that down in the description. In the beginning, when you really are just learning about what anxiety is, what is triggering it in your life, where those roots of anxiety are coming from, you're likely going to be experimenting with different techniques and different strategies. Hopefully you're learning those from some reputable sources. That's kind of why I started to create this channel in the first place. So hopefully you're finding some good ones here or there, but as you go through that experimentation process, you're gonna start to learn what feels best for you and your specific flavor of anxiety. So once you find those that really work for you and that you really enjoy and you can remember to engage with, you can really just stick with those. The particular strategy that we're going to be talking about today is called the elongated exhale. And actually, I just heard a different name for it as I'm going through this preparation period for maternity leave and giving birth. I'm about 8 months pregnant right now, so in that final stretch, and I'm learning all about strategies and techniques and specifically relaxation strategies. And so as I was going through that search, they were using this particular technique, but they called it a de-stressor breath, which I absolutely love. So I think I'm going to stick with that going forward. So yes, it's an elongated exhale technically, but it is meant to de-stress and calm the body. So I love that name. I'm going to use it, I think, from here on out. And if you're kind of in that stage of life too, I will link that channel down in the description. After I go over the structure of this technique, I will go through and explain why it is actually so beneficial for calming anxiety and calming fear. The structure of this technique is honestly so simple. You don't even need to be super rigid with it. You can really just meet your body where you're at. Oftentimes when we're feeling anxious, our breath is going to be a bit more shallow. As we start to be able to calm down our nervous system and tell our fear centers that, hey, we're doing okay right now, then our breathing can start to go back into a just like typical pattern, and we're not necessarily feeling like we're hyperventilating. So this technique is great because you really can just meet yourself wherever you're at in that spectrum of levels of anxiety. All you really need to do is try to make your exhale like twice as long as your inhale. So let's say you're breathing in to the count of 2 or 3. You're gonna wanna try to make your exhale last to the count of 4 or even 6. You just wanna make it a bit longer than the inhale. Again, this is just an example of, what those counts could look like. It is likely that the length of your inhale and your exhale are going to shift depending on how anxious you are. So if you're more anxious, they're probably going to be a bit shorter. And if you're less anxious, they're probably going to be a bit longer. This is normal. This is just the body doing what it does to protect us. And so just meet yourself wherever you are and try to make that exhale a bit longer than the inhale. One tip that can be helpful for elongating that exhale is to imagine breathing through a straw. This really just helps us to slow that process down a little bit and get a little bit more out of that exhale. Now, the reason this particular breathing strategy can be so effective for calming down your anxiety is related to just the natural pattern of your breath when your body is in that heightened anxious state. If you've been around this channel for any length of time, then you've probably heard me talk about how anxiety is our physical representation of our body's innate protective mechanism. And what I mean by this is when your body is in an anxious, protective, heightened state, then your breathing pattern is just naturally going to speed up. Your body is trying to get more oxygen so it can feed your muscles and feed your brain and give it the extra resources that it might need in order to fight off the threat or to run away. So by intentionally slowing down our exhale, slowing down the entire pattern of our breath, essentially what we're doing is sending a safety signal to our brain directly from our body. This safety signal lets your brain know that you aren't actually in as much danger as it initially thought that you were. And so when your brain starts to feel safe again, it's going to start to move you from that sympathetic nervous system state, which is where anxiety lives, and it'll move you into that parasympathetic, calming homeostasis kind of nervous system state. And just a friendly reminder that this process of moving from a sympathetic nervous system state into a parasympathetic nervous system state does take time. We're talking about 15 to 20 minutes of active coping, of actively using calming strategies like this to send those safety signals to the brain so we can start to get the idea that, hey, we are okay right now. I know, brain, you think that we are in active danger, but we're not right now. And so it's okay to kind of shut down that protective response and move back into a calm parasympathetic state. And as with all other calming strategies that you hear about, please know that these are not meant to get rid of your anxiety. The goal is simply to let your brain and let your nervous system know that you're not in danger. So then it can ease up on its protective response and you can find yourself feeling calm, safe, secure, and in a general state of homeostasis. If you have found this video helpful at all, please do let me know by hitting that like button, maybe even hitting subscribe, and sharing this video with a loved one or a friend who might also be struggling with anxiety. Take care, and I'll see you next time.